I think what his story is going to tell us today is how important it is that we all be vigilant in protecting justice in our society. And his experiences, some of you listened to his interview on Tucker. His experiences are really shocking, and the sentence that was handed down was not what you would expect for the kind of government that we all cherish. And so we're going to hear a little bit about justice and hear a little bit about George Santos. Hopefully some fun stories and some maybe interesting perspectives. So welcome to the stage Tim Rice and George Santos.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to keep it off the paper for most of this, but
you need paper?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
George Santos, the Honorable George Santos.
That's kind of funny.
Isn't it? So for the two people in this room, on average, who don't know the Honorable George Santos, I just want to review. George, you've had a hell of a past few years. Just to recap, you were elected to Congress in 2022 in the first race to feature two openly gay candidates. Almost immediately, it was revealed that you had embellished parts of your resume and life story. You were indicted for stealing from donors, expelled from Congress, joined Cameo, where you immediately became, I think, their top earner, or at least their biggest celebrity.
Allegedly.
You pled guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft, a thing that I don't understand, and we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Sure.
You were sentenced to 7 years in prison, pardoned by President Trump after 84 days.
Commuted. Facts matter.
Commuted.
Yes. Commuted.
After 84 days. And now I believe you are a prison reform advocate. I'm exhausted just reading through all of that, and I didn't have to live it. So my first question of the evening is, how you doing, George?
That's a loaded question. So it's great to be here. First of all, Tim, thank you for doing this. I guess nobody else wanted to do it. I'm kidding.
I actually had to fight, believe me.
So no, I just thank you for being here, all of you, and just being in the room. You, so much young people in such a decrepit geriatric town. God bless you. Like seriously, it's so good to see youth in a room like this, and it's just inspiring. But how am I? Not well. It's PTSD is real. You don't need to serve to have PTSD. You just have to like have a bad boss, have a bad breakup, go to prison. It's not just serving in the military. And thank you to veterans, if there's any service members in here. It's definitely been challenging the last 3 weeks and change, but I'm figuring it out.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about, how you're figuring it out and what the next step looks like. But
just day by day.
Day by day.
Let's skip that. Let's
Sure.
just get to it.
Okay.
There's no how I'm figuring. I'm just going with the flow. It's like I'm literally just rolling with the punches. It's just like whatever. Oh, you want to come speak at CPI? Like, sure, let's go to CPI. Why not? It's like my favorite organization on the Hill when I was here. I hired staffers who were interns here. I love the group. I love the philosophy. So I said, sure, let's go. So that's kind of how I'm figuring it out. So it's not that deep.
I love it. So you said after you were released 3 weeks ago, you said, right? So less than a month. You said, and I'm quoting here, this was a true second chance at life, a chance to grow, to change, and to walk a better path. What does that mean to you exactly? How are you going to do those things? Or as you approach this day by day, like, what's your mantra?
Be gay, don't do crime. I know, I'm just trying to lean into the meme. If J.D. Vance did it, I could do it too. But I'm not going to spin in a freaking weird wig. God bless you, J.D. But no, there's so many things you learn in life, and they come through experience. And that experience for me, I guess, was like, you get punched in the face, and then you're just like, whoa, prison sucks. But the way to do better, I think, is to I have a lot on my plate now, and that what does that mean? I need to regain good grace from the American people. I have to regain the trust of the American people. Most importantly, my former constituents. But on top of that, I can't let President Trump down. So it's like there's a lot. That's just a lot to have on your shoulder. So you come out of a situation like I was in, and you have to really rethink every step you take forward. And for me, the biggest opportunity is, how can I give back to the American people and to doing something that I think is productive and reformative, and having experienced prison. And I want to make this very clear, because a lot of people ask me, like, but George, you don't really want to take people out of prison. I'm like, no, that's not what this is about for me. It's about reforming people in prison. And the experience I went under was not reformatory at all and not rehabilitative. It was cruel. And that impedes us from reforming and rehabilitating people. So for me to take that as a challenge and make that a mission, I mean, please point out to anybody you know that went from federal inmate and 10 days later being in the BOP having a meeting with the director and deputy director of the BOP. I'm the only one I know of. So I think that that speaks volumes that I have that platform to do that. Now imagine if I went through everything I went through, being who I am, imagine what they do to people who don't have that platform. So that's what doing good to me is gonna look like. It's actually using everything I can and the opportunities, the stages and the platforms I have to promote something that benefits not just one individual person, but people and the American people as a whole.
So it's interesting that you say, though, and your accounts, your prison diaries, and the interviews that you've given since, and we will definitely get into this. I think it's important that George gets to talk about, what he saw, and it's pretty riveting. But setting aside the fact that America's prisons might have a lot of things that need to be fixed, you said that your experience wasn't reformative or rehabilitative, but you were in there for 84 days of a 7-year sentence, and you seem pretty reformed to me. So, like, what do you say to that? Like.
You know what? Jesus is real. If you have any doubts, I got to say, I was sitting in solitary confinement for 41 of the 84 days. Me, myself, and I, sink toilet combo, which now I have empathy for AOC talking about it. I'm not making fun of her ever again for that one. I have plenty of matter subject on her, but that's not one I'm going to exploit anymore. And just the cruelty of it all. And under the gaslighting guises of, it's for your protection. So if you don't find and connect yourself with the greater being, I mean, I genuinely mean this. If it was not for faith, I don't think I'd be sitting here having this conversation, this very candid conversation with you, because I did experience deep trauma in there. And I actually wrote 3 suicide letters. I figured out how to end my life in the shoe. And it was something so troubling to me because I don't have that like easy way out. I mean, I think I've made that very clear. I don't care how insane it is. I go right towards it. And for me to be in that position was, I guess, what really enlightened me. I don't think the prison system did anything. I did that by myself, my relationship with God, and zero thanks to the warden, Lynn Kelly, or anything that has to do with the BOP. And I'm not saying this as a leadership role, but at the local mid-management level, which is wardens and below, they did nothing. They actually aggravated my hatred for them and for the system, which is why we have recidivism so high. So to answer your question, I don't think the prison did that. People can reform themselves and have this atonement by themselves on their own accords. I guess I just went through atonement boot camp.
Okay, yeah, like you speed ran atonement because you were forced to. But so
Yeah.
let's get into this a little bit. Why don't you tell us a little about what prison was like, what you experienced, and specifically the sorts of things that you think are, like truly unconscionable that need to be reformed.
I don't think any single taxpayer would appreciate to know that we take American citizens who transgressed, broke the law, and feed them expired food. I don't, right? I don't think anybody thinks that's more morally acceptable. Yet here I am working in the prison kitchen, which is natural fit for me because I love entertaining at home and I've always done it. So I said, I'll go work in the kitchen. Who cares? It was fun too. And you get to, you get perks, they say. But day 2 in there, I discovered I was about to go and make an entire delicious batch of chicken patty sandwiches that were expired a year and 4 months earlier. And when I protested, I said, wait, these are expired. Oh, whoops. Oh, no. They're frozen. They keep well. I'm like, oh, category is salmonella. And that's literally what I said, because you can't be serious. So then I learned, because I'll be damned if I don't do politicking. Oh, I did a lot of politicking in prison. So I got close with a lot of the staff. A lot of conservative, like-minded people who actually protested the fact that I was even in prison, but that's to their own beliefs. They would tell me, like, well, we have this warden who genuinely likes to cut every single corner she can so she can get a bonus at the end of the year, because we have a bonus incentive system in the BOP for wardens. So they undercut, they cut corners. They don't care if they're buying things that are up to expire. They buy it all in bulk and store it for, as long as it's going to last. That creates anger. Inmates are angry at that. When you're getting your, tortilla chips, and you're just like, oh, these expired 6 months ago, because it's right there, like good Best Buy, and you're gaslit by saying, like, oh, that's a suggestive date. These are little egregious things. But here's the biggest one for me. I'm ADD, if you haven't noticed. And I've been on Vyvanse, which is an Adderall-like drug, since I'm 15 years old. I was cold turkey pulled out of a drug that anyone who understands it has deep-rooted psychological impacts on you when you're cold turkey pulled from it. It's essentially denying a diabetic insulin, but on your brain, essentially. That was the first course of action they did in prison for me. So now they have an overly emotional human being off my meds. Not a fun thing to do. And when I protested that, they literally said it wasn't their obligation to treat my mental health. So that's another issue that I thought was very egregious, being that a lot of people go to prison due to severe mental health issues.
Sure.
So what are we doing, right? These are just a few of a lot of things that I can sit here and bore you with.
No, I mean, it's not boring, but I guess the question is, like, it's almost a truism, right, that, of course, like, prison inmates are angry, right? They would rather be not in prison. They would rather have not been caught doing their crimes, or they were, plead their innocence. But what do you think, what is George Santos's ideal prison system, right?
Prison is not supposed to be comfortable. It's not the Shangri-La. It's not the Ritz-Carlton. But it doesn't have to be cruel. It doesn't have to be inhumane. It doesn't have to denigrate a person and rob them of their humanity. It's supposed to be reformative. Prison's not supposed to be a punishment based on how it's written in our code in this country. It's supposed to be something where you send people to rehabilitate themselves so that they don't transgress again. But the reason we have if I'm not mistaken, 55 or 60% recidivism rate is because we do the exact opposite. We make people angry. We make people resent the system more because they're sent there, they're treated poorly. They absolutely have everything you will read on the internet about prison, whether it's education, programs, training, none of that exists, at least at Ferreton FCI. It is all on paper. First Step Act is being completely, utterly abused over there because you're supposed to take all these classes to qualify. The case manager openly says, don't worry, I'll just sign that you did it because the warden doesn't really want to fund the program. So it's like it's fraud. It's literally fraud.
Right.
So we're giving people all this credit without actually asking anything in return from them. They're coming out of prison earlier, but not reformed, not rehabilitated. So it's a big issue.
Well, so what's the solution, though? Because and one thing that immediately strikes me, right, is that usually as Republicans, as conservatives, right, we see a federal thing, right, a federal program, a prison, a benefits program. We see it being abused and not implemented well, and we identify these bureaucrats who are cutting corners to maximize their bonus. And our first impulse, or at least my first impulse, is, well, we should privatize it, right? Like let's break that off. No, but right. So with prison, right, it's private prisons are a beast of a different nature, a host unto themselves that are even worse. So if privatization isn't the answer, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that you don't think that a full Mamdani, like, let's abolish police in general and just sort of have counselors on the ground to talk the criminals out of, you can talk about your feelings instead of committing third-degree murder. But, like, what's the solution? Like, how do you fix this?
First of all, as somebody who's fleeing New York City after 37 years of being a proud New Yorker because I chose not to live in, communism and in whatever the hell Mamdani describes himself to be. But before leaving, I am selling burqas if anybody anybody needs one, I will be putting a stand. And you don't get to choose a color because women, I am a man and I choose what you were going to wear. So all kidding aside, look.
Well, it's communism, so all the burqas are going to be gray, right? It's just one color. It's just the,
I was thinking more like pink, fuchsia,
Okay, well,
the little
that would work in the village.
Red-ish.
Yeah.
So to be serious, I think it's more about accountability, Tim. If we talk about what happens in prison, it's mainly because we give untethered power to these self-proclaimed monarchs known as wardens. I mean, the corruption runs so deep. If you do a study on how much corruption occurs with wardens, there is a 20% chance that wardens will end up in federal custody themselves. That is absolutely wild to me that the people in charge of rehabilitating people are committing so many crimes that 20% of them go to prison themselves. I learned that statistic after coming out of prison. I was like, whoa. I'll give a little fun story. Not too far from where I was saying, there's this prison called Fort Dix. The warden there, I guess 2 wardens ago, went to prison and got 10 years in prison because the warden received appropriations to install climate systems in the prison, AC heat, because it doesn't exist or it was broken or whatever the case was. Instead, he decided to redo the fences of the prison, which, by the way, were still in perfect shape and had no need to. And he just electively gave the bid to his brother. $10 million was awarded for this contract. And you know what's the kicker? They never installed the fences. That was the kicker.
It's like mob rule. It's like a mob contract.
So this is what happens in prisons. We have really limited oversight over wardens. The warden I experienced with, I made it very clear to her because she was so disnecessarily cruel to me, and she gleed and enjoyed it. And I kept thinking to myself, you're going to get out of here one day and you're going to remind her she might be the queen here, but you're the HBIC out there. And that's exactly what I told her when I left. I said, you might have had a good time here, but I'm going to have the last laugh when I see you in the oversight committee, because that's literally, like, we're going to have fun. And it's funny because the morning I got commuted, I did not know I was getting commuted that day. This is a crazy story. I get called into this office with the administrator. Oh, we have a subpoena for you to sign. I'm like, I'm being subpoenaed? Yeah. Apparently Congress is subpoenaing you to testify. I'm like, oh, let's rock and roll. So Congressman Tim Burchett and Congresswoman Lauren Boebert sent over a subpoena to bring me and a warden and assistant warden to testify in Congress in the Oversight Committee whenever the government opened. I guess that's tomorrow. So I guess
I think the vote's happening right now.
We'll get a date, and I can't wait to see Warden Kelly in the Oversight Committee. It's going to be very fun because I'm going to remind her of a little chat we had when I was in the SHU. You might be the queen in here, but I'm the HBIC out there. And I meant that because she ran the entire time as if she was above accountability and above criticism. And I guess, we'll have fun.
So what you're telling me basically is that you
need to reform middle management.
Sure, yeah.
It's always middle management.
It's always middle management. It's always, as a middle manager myself,
always
I
middle
understand
management.
that. But also the bigger, more important thing that I'm taking from this is that you've basically lived through a yassified version of the Shawshank Redemption. Like, instead of disappearing to Zawatney, you're going to come back and you're going to be,
I'm doing the Princess Diana
tanned,
revenge
rested,
tour.
and ready.
Does anybody have a strapless black dress, please?
So I do. All right, hold on. This is the tough question of the night, because listen, you're speaking very honestly and eloquently, right, about how there was a lack of accountability, and that's the main problem in the Bureau of Prisons and in federal prison systems. And it sounds like, right, these wardens are people who have a blueprint to do their job well, right? Like,
they do.
Like, spend the money as allocated, buy food that isn't expired, feed the inmates, rehabilitate them, put them to the programs. Now, one might think, hearing this, right, of an aspiring congressman who embellishes their resume a little bit to get elected, right?
Which you shouldn't do.
Right.
Don't do it.
But so, talk to me a little bit about that, right? Like, you clearly, I think when people see you, or at least when I see you, right, like, you're a dynamic guy, you're a smart guy, You're an energetic guy.
Depends on who you ask.
Well, people have been elected to Congress, certainly from Long Island, with less of a resume than that. So, like, why did you feel the need to cut corners such as it was? Obviously, I'm not drawing an equivalence between you and the warden, but like, in a certain abstract way, right? You could say the same thing about you. So
I agree. I think that's a fair question. And I will preface it with always opt to be truthful. It is the best lesson I learned in my life, and I didn't need to learn it now the way I did because I knew it already. I just chose to not do that for some stupid, awful reason.
But what was the stupid, awful reason?
Well, the stupid, awful reason was ambition, insecurity, and I can pile them all up. All the things you shouldn't pay attention to in life that are not important, I allowed them to take the front seat of my life. And when I allowed that to happen, I put all the important things to the back burner. And when you put all the important things to the back burner, you end up in prison. It's very simple. It's about a self accountability and looking at yourself in the mirror. So if you're sitting here, this is a city full of vanity. I know it. I lived here. I experienced this city. I experienced living here. Don't get caught up in the vanity of it. About titles, about who you work for, what you do, what you want to do, or if you just be you. Because I failed to be me, and I didn't need to not be me in order to get elected. I know that truth so profound today in such a profound way that it hurts because people tell me like, George, we love you the way you are. We didn't care about what was on your resume. Why did you do it? And I sit there like, humana. I don't know what to say because it's stupid. And I'm not. Irony does not die upon entering my soul, okay? I get it. It is ironic that I am here criticizing somebody on their conduct and the way they carry and discharge their role. I say this with conviction. I hurt more than anyone myself.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm going to have to live with that. That is on me. It's on my shoulders. It will be a burden I will carry for the rest of my life. I'm 37 years old. Based on statistics, I'll live until at least my mid-60s. So I have, 30 years that I'm going to carry this if we're being transparent and honest. So what else is there to say? Like, don't do it. Don't do what I did.
Well, and I think,
that's very important.
Look, we're all hypocrites, right? We all do one thing.
No, you're not a hypocrite.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm ideologically
You're beyond
but,
reproach.
We all do one thing and say another. So I mean, that's to a certain extent is reasonable. But I think, right, it's like when Parasite won Best Picture, right? We all watched Parasite, and it was like,
what's that?
Oh, it's that Korean movie. It was great about the Oh, you didn't even see this?
No.
All right, so Parasite, for those who don't remember, is a movie about a family of like impoverished South Koreans who defraud a rich family to become rich themselves. And I think the director is a socialist, so his point was that of the movie was that he wanted people to think communism was bad. But Americans watched the movie and said, well, these people had gifts, they had grit, they had dedication, they had intelligence, they had cunning, right? You have all those things. These are things that can get you in Washington. And like, why not just knife your way into Congress in the normal way, right? In the legal way, right? Why not dig a boppo on your opponents and kind of inflate yourself a little bit, but like in a way that wouldn't get you in trouble? Like, what was it about? You say ambition. Everyone has ambition. Everyone in Washington who runs for Congress.
You can be blinded by ambition.
But it's like, what was it that blinded you? Like, what? I think that's what I'm trying to get at.
I guess insecurities.
Yeah.
The insecurities of I didn't graduate college. The insecurities of I come from a poor family. It's that rags to riches story, but not so glamorous. I'm not Bill Gates. I'm not Elon Musk. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here living in this very affluent area of my own accomplishment. I didn't move to the Gold Coast on accident or on chance. I could afford to live there. So it was just the insecurities of my background. I was ashamed of like where I came from, and that alone is reprehensible for me because it's a great dishonor to my mom who's deceased and my father who has to live through the embarrassment of seeing his kid not get dragged just through the mud, but then go to prison. So these are things that you don't want to put your parents through. And I put my dad through this. I put my family through this. I put everybody I love through this. And I equate it back to just really stupidity, really. Yeah. It's like there's nothing profound that I can say to justify it other than it's one of those things.
Right. That's most bad decisions, right? I think most of us, right? You do something wrong, you feel guilty, you spend a couple of days trying to high-minded justify it, but at the end of the day, it's like, why did I do it? Because I did it. Why did I do it? I didn't think. Should I have thought? Yeah. Did I know better? Sure. Yeah. So, but let's abstract back even a little bit from that, which is you had a successful business. You were living on the Gold Coast. You had ambition, sure, but I mean, you're in New York. You were miles outside of the city. There were any number of things that an ambitious young businessman could do to further his ambition and cement his name in, the city on Long Island. Why did you run for Congress? Like, what was it that drew you to public service?
Oh, no, AOC. I mean, I think I told Alexandra that many, many times. I thank you so much for the inspiration. I mean, when I saw this woman in 2018 with a Che Guevara style picture, like straight up looked like a communist poster, running in the middle of New York City and getting all that hurrah, I'm like, anything you can do, I can do better.
No, you can't.
That was literally how I thought about it. I'm like, there's no way this woman is going to get elected. And she got elected. And I said, the bartender took out Joe Crowley. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's supposed to be the speaker. And I actually like Joe Crowley as a Democrat. Yeah. So I just sat there like completely shocked. So I said, I'm going to run for Congress. Like, who are you again? I looked at him and I'm like, who the fuck are you? It's like, what are you doing?
But that's the sort of thing, right? Where like AOC, right? Like she did the kind of like acceptable kind of lying, right? There's
no acceptable lying.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Like
she is Sandy from Westchester.
Yeah,
she
she's
tried
from
to play
Westchester County. She lives in Navy Yard. She parks her Tesla illegally and racks up the parking tickets. She went to Northeastern. She majored in dance.
Did I miss the T of the racking tickets? She doesn't pay her parking tickets.
Oh yeah, that was something we reported on at the Washington Free Beacon a bunch of years ago. Go check it out. It's breaking exclusive.
I got crap for one $50 speeding ticket I didn't pay that I didn't know I had, and the New York Post like dragged me through the coals. I'm like, oops.
So let me ask post prison reform George Santos about this, right? Like, do you think that sort of, again, I'm going to use the phrase again just for the purposes of this conversation, acceptable lying, right? Like acceptable, like
there's no acceptable
lying. No, I know,
lying.
I'm using this for the purpose. Do you think that should be disqualifying? Like, should voters look at AOC and say, well, you misrepresented yourself. You said that you were from a lower socioeconomic bracket than you were from. You said you were from the Bronx, but you're really from Westchester. You said you were sort of like, impoverished. You went to Northeastern. Like, I mean, should we be that pure, or should we accept a little bit of dishonesty from our politicians?
We should not accept dishonesty from our politicians. That's just, I think we've culturally accepted it, and that's how people like myself even say like, oh, I mean, it's a little lie. It's not really. No, that is part of the problem we have.
Is
today.
that how it started? Do you think with you was it a little lie and then it was another little lie?
It starts with like, oh, this is a white lie. It's only meant for an audience.
Yeah.
And then that grows. And then you're like, oh, yeah, like that's. I'm like, oh, shit.
And then you get elected to Congress, and it's like, oh, my God.
I'm like, oh, my God.
The first gay Jewish congressman.
Look,
and then you have to say, I said Jew-ish.
But I did. But I did. And I had this conversation with somebody this morning.
By the way, but also George, come on.
Look, it was a great party joke. Everybody loved it. And now all of a sudden people give me shit over it. So get over yourselves. So it's funny because I made that joke at the RJC in 2022. 1,000 people in the room thought it was the funniest thing since sliced bread. And then all of a sudden it was weaponized again. So I'm like, okay, wait, is funny? It's illegal to be funny. So, but no, let me make this very clear. It is not acceptable and should not be acceptable to misrepresent anything or to embellish anything. If you go through a fine comb on every single elected official and you find those inconsistencies, it should not be acceptable. It should not be. We shouldn't turn a cheek. We should I'm not asking, and I'm not saying this because now it's easy to say. No, I'm saying this because truly that's how my attitude should have always been. I completely failed to uphold that standard, but I ran for office because I was sick and tired of Washington. I was sick and tired of the geriatric state of Washington, D.C. I said, we need to make this a younger institution that represents more of the American people, but also, most importantly, one that actually is up to par with the modern days that we're in. I mean, a big moment for me is actually two senators that I actually very much enjoyed, Chuck Grassley and Orrin Hatch, the late Orrin Hatch, when they were grilling Mark Zuckerberg, and I think it was like back in 2017-18, what is Facebook? Is it a book full of faces? I said, no, this has to end. Like, this is so insane. And these were two very well-respected members of the United States Senate. So it was little things like that that really led me to want to get involved. And then I kind of did it so dumb. Like, one thing I'll say is I crashed the glass ceiling that I'm glad I did, in the sense of we are a big tent party. We accept everyone. We don't care about anything. You don't have to be white. You don't have to be straight. You don't have to be Christian. You can be whatever you are, so long as you are your authentic self. And I prove that as being the first openly gay man elected to the Republican Party in the history of this country. Not that that matters, because I didn't campaign on that at all. I never made it a campaign issue, although my opponent made it an existential issue. I did it because I didn't care. But it just shows that Republicans are about policy, not about who you are, what you do with your own life. So
do you worry that you maybe set that big party back, that big tent back a little bit, though? Because the next openly gay Brazilian guy that runs for Congress in New Jersey.
You don't
or
want
something.
Brazilians in Congress.
You know what I'm saying, right? Like the next.
Look at their country. You don't want them in Congress.
The next George Santos, right? The next person who runs for Congress for the Republican Party, who has basically exactly your profile, right? Isn't every immediate suspicion and every immediate oppo attack going to be? Do you remember George Santos?
Yeah, but I think that's very unfair, because we don't.
Well, I mean, if it is unfair, but the media is unfair.
We don't go around saying,
"Oh,
remember Jesse Jackson Jr." We don't do that, right?
Don't we?
I don't see it. Do we? Are we
think-
still talking about Jesse Jackson Jr.?
I think voters they type, right? They stereotype it. I mean, you.
So you're saying every black man from Illinois?
No,
is
I'm not saying anything.
I'm just asking.
I'm not a voter.
Ask.
I've never voted. I'm not a voter. I'm saying, do you feel a little?
You're
I mean,
the second person in the media today to tell me that you're not a voter.
I'm lying. I obviously vote, but I'm saying,
you do vote. So you just lied.
Yeah, I lied.
You electively chose to lie.
This guy. I can see how he got away with it. No, but seriously, like, don't.
Wait,
like,
you have the chutzpah to grill me.
You said
you literally just lied to my face into this room full of people.
I joked. It was a joke.
No,
like
it wasn't.
Jewish.
No, ish was a joke.
No, but you say
kidding.
you broke this glass ceiling, and I think you did. And I think that's important. Like, I agree. I would like the Republican Party to continue to be a big tent party, certainly as the Democrats move. But so, like, do you feel like maybe you set it back?
No, because in this country and in our party, can I get a show of hands? Do we not still believe in personal responsibility? Like, anyone? Okay, you see? No, I don't think it's a problem. I'm George Santos. You're not George Santos. Oh, I'm not saying you're gay. I'm just saying you're not going to bear the burdens of my issues. Those are mine, exclusively mine, and I think that's how it should be.
That's how it should be, but that's not necessarily how it always is.
Well, then do better as the media.
It's not my fault. It's the. I mean, look.
And I'm not saying that as an attack to you. I'm saying as the media and a representative of the media, we also need to say we need to stop. And don't take this personal. I mean that, Tim.
Yeah.
We need to also hold the media accountable and not allow them to capitulate everyone into comparisons. Oh, she's just like that one, or he's just like that one. No, individual responsibility is how we get past that. And it's by pushing back every time the media tries to capitulate people into those corners that you, the people, hold the media accountable. And I'm not saying this directed at you, Tim. I mean that. But, and I'm sorry.
Say it to them. Pick a random journalist in the room.
I mean, I can do.
Journalists, raise your hand.
I can do a lot right there who I'm staring at. It's very prominent right there. But what I'm trying to say is, we should just not allow that to be the norm. It's so revolting. It's revolting, truly revolting, that this is literally where we are today, is that everything is a cult of personality, or it's we're going to tear whoever we don't like down, and we're going to make their lives absolutely miserable. There's no fun in that. And there isn't. There's just no fun.
And that's what politics is about,
it's
right?
It's
about having
supposed to be engaging. You know I like debating? I love debating.
I can tell.
It is so fun. For me, it's fun. Does anybody here like debating? Nobody? You like debating? Isn't it fun? Isn't it nice to express difference of opinions and have different ideas without tearing each other down? Like, why can't that just be the norm?
Let's talk about.
Why can't we go back to, like, Abe Lincoln days? I know that's asking for a lot, but but let's
like slavery.
I'm going to repeat, Abe Lincoln abolished slavery in case you missed that. So that's specifically why I said Abe Lincoln days, and I didn't go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at the founding, though, right? And I mean, there's been, Alexander Hamilton said that Thomas Jefferson said that Alexander Hamilton was a monarchist. People are in the pockets of France. Is this not just like a little bit endemic to our political system? Is this not just a little bit part of the partisanship? Like, there's always the part. What are political parties for, if not to kind of create boogeymen of the opposition?
But some of our founding fathers were kingish, if you think about it. They did have those. They had that tendency, but that's also the founding times of our country. We were coming out of a monarchy, so some of them still had that mentality. I'm not disputing that, or agreeing.
You're just coming out on the Jeffersonian side 250 years later. You're like,
whatever.
John Adams was a monarchist.
It could be true. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well,
it's like whenever a Jehovah Witness knocks on my door, I'm like, I can't witness anything. I wasn't there. It's like, no offense to anybody, okay? It's just like,
show of hands, Jehovah's Witnesses.
I can't really be part of your religion. I did not witness anything. So it's like, I don't know. So
should we talk about religion?
No. No. You're
a Catholic now, right?
Can we just skip through religion, please?
Have you gone to confession?
I did twice. I did it. I did the day before I got commuted. I went to confession, squared away my quarrels with God, and took communion after years of like not being up to date. Let's just say that, and then only to get commuted the next day. And I said, "Look, I don't care. Thank you, President Trump, but I don't care what anybody says now. I mean." There's no way you're going to tell me, oh, it's just a coincidence. The hell it is. It's like insane. And I've been out 3 weeks. So obviously in 3 weeks, I've gotten myself into, let's just say, shenanigans. Nothing bad. But I've said things that I said, I shouldn't have said that. So I did go to confession again.
That's what it's there for.
And I sat there and the priest is like, it's not technically a mortal sin, but don't do it again. I'm like, all right, thanks. Here's your 3 Hail Marys and let's go on. It feels good to be up to date with your religion, with anything and a greater power. I'm not trying to evangelize here. I'm actually the worst person to do that, but I think it's important, and it works for me.
Well, the vice president said at the National Catholic Prayer Breakfast earlier this year that the thing that originally drew him to Catholicism was that he described it as a kind of technology, right? And it's sort of like it puts you in a machine almost where, you have to go to Mass every Sunday. If you don't, then you can't get communion. Then you have to go to confession. The sacraments sort of work as these like way stations, right? This sort of almost like a feeder system. So I think there is something to be said, right?
Accountability.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, well, we'll stop talking about religion. That was our religion corner for the Catholics in the room. So, George, I can't help but notice you said a lot tonight. You sound an awful lot like a guy that's going to run for Congress again.
Nope. Not. You couldn't pay me. I mean, seriously, you couldn't pay me. First of all, I'd be kicked out of my house. That was actually a pickup. Like, you're done with politics. I said, I'm done with politics. If you're not done with politics, pack your shit and go. I'm like,
I think every married person in the room can imagine their spouse picking them up from prison and immediately yelling at them. That feels like kind of a universal experience.
I'm just saying.
Like, don't do that again.
Just saying. So,
yes, dear.
I have no intention of getting involved in politics. At least I'll say this, to not say never, in the near future. And when I say near future, the next decade or more.
Everyone's listening to
no
that.
desire. Today, look, I'm going to...
So he'll be 47? Okay, so not until he's 47, folks. He's not going back for elected office.
Let me make this very clear. I financially ruined myself. I morally bankrupted myself because of politics. Why would I want to go back?
Well, it sounds like that's the perfect background to run as a Democrat.
Maybe I will be a Democrat when I'm dead. Those absentee ballots are not going to stop coming in.
Chicago
George Santos, a great Republican until he died and became a Democrat. Like, that's going to be on my tombstone.
So what is next though? I mean, you say you're not going to. You've been out. If I went to jail, if I went to prison, I would spend at least 2 months not leaving my house or talking to anybody. You got right back out there. You're writing. You're speaking. I mean, there's something admirable about this, right? Like you're turning it right around. There's what's next? Are
but
you
I'm
going to
not
stay out
known
there?
to shut up, though.
Well, sure, but so all right,
to a detriment, even to my own detriment. My attorney, who's in the back, is usually like,
"Give us away.
Can you shut up?" I'm like, "No."
He's doing this. He's doing this from the back.
So to be honest and transparent and forthcoming, I am definitely pivoting into an entertainment industry career, which is, I think, what most people would expect. You just nodded like, yeah, we knew that. Like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, and
she's in the front row too, so she'll be signing up for whatever it is. Dancing with the Stars, the next season. It's Dancing with the Stars is back.
Why
apparently.
does everybody say? We have a Dancing with the Stars alum in the room. I'm not gonna out her, but you know who it is.
I do. Well, we won't say if she wants to out herself.
So all I'll say is, For now, it's not politics. I will be involved in advocacy and working with the director and deputy director of the BOP because we have two really good public servants in Director Bill and Deputy Director Josh who are phenomenal. Great picks by the president. And if we're really going to do some reform, and by the way, this reform saves us money. It's about the fiscal conservative side of that, which is really what I've always been passionate about on the government side. So we have so many opportunities, and I can do so much more from the outside than I can from the inside. I mean, I learned that congresspeople are lonesome wolves until people coalesce on an issue, and usually when people coalesce on an issue, you don't like it. When everybody agrees on it,
That's when it becomes the swamp, right? That's when it's like, oh, no.
So I'd rather be effective out here where I have a platform, where I have a voice, and where I don't need to bend my views for the party. I love the GOP ideas. I just don't love the institution it is anymore. I want us to be true conservatives.
Yeah.
I am a gay man, but I know myself to be to the right of most guys I served with in Congress. And that's not a dig at them. It's just an inversion of values that when they come here, they seem to forget why they came here. And that is why I don't want to come here. Because I didn't stay here long enough to forget why I came here, which is great because people like you wouldn't let me forget. So for me, that worked really well. And in the sense that I'm thankful that I retained my conservative values of why I came to Congress. I came to Congress because I wanted to lower taxes. I wanted a smaller government. Matter of fact, I want to abolish half of Washington, D.C., and I'm sorry if that means some of you guys lose your jobs, but you're talented. You'll find other jobs in the private sector. I think we need to have a smaller government, a larger private sector, and a far more accountable federal government, too. I mean, it's just wild at this point. I mean, how many million were not receiving paychecks? That's when you really stop and think, wait, millions of Americans are part of the federal payroll? Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree. I think most Republicans, everyone in the room probably agrees.
But I did come for this pin. It costs a shit ton of money in prison, but I have it. So I'll say this, I get to keep it. And the funny thing is, I went to get my ID, and the clerk was like, oh, do you want to put HON in front of your name? I'm like, I don't think that's appropriate. Like, just George is fine.
George is okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine, yeah.
Let's talk about the Republican Party for a second. You've had nothing but good things to say about them, although many
I
of
criticize a lot of their...
Sure, and as anyone, people...
We should have won New Jersey.
Okay.
Jack Ciattarelli did better in New Jersey without the GOP and the RNC involved 4 years earlier, so there's something to be said there. Just saying.
Fair, and I mean, I'm already over those elections. We're journalists. We're on to midterms already. But so my question is more, what has the reception been since coming out of? I mean, we've seen like Nick LaLotta, Nicole Maliotakis. They've obviously. Let's set
Nick
aside,
is a big critic of mine, but let's learn his name. It's LaLotta.
LaLotta. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Let's not do that.
Fair. Let's set aside the New York delegation because to a certain extent they probably have to come out and say, well, whatever. What's the reception been? Have you talked to President Trump? Who have you talked to? Who's welcomed you back? Who's sent you nasty text messages telling you to stay out of D.C.? What's happening?
Nobody sends me nasty text messages because I bite. So nobody does that. That's very known. I think. Do you remember the very notorious text message when the seat flipped blue that I sent to all of them?
I think I do, but can you remind the audience?
No. so
that's for the off the record part of the evening. We'll talk about that.
So for me, do I have critics? Yeah, I have critics I created. So I have to deal with it. I'm not here to complain about my critics because I turned them into my critics by my own actions. So I have to deal with it. It's like my own doing, right? So it is what it is. I have spoken to the president. The president's been amazing. And the fact that I asked him I wanted to do prison reform and then I met with his team like within 10 days, I was like, wow, I guess he's the president. He does make things happen. So those are very awesome experiences. It's very humbling that you're like, the president of the United States calls you. The president of the United States, you tell him what you want to do. He makes it happen. And you're just like, wow, what a privilege to be, a person who can accomplish that. But do I have critics? Is the sky blue? Of course I have critics. And what do I do with that? I let them be my critics because my critics will make me better. I will listen. I will try to, because I am persistent, I will try to make them no longer be my critics. I've been in D.C. now for 2 days, and it's been touch and go. Like, there's people who like me, and there's people who hate me. I'm sure there's people in this room that don't like me, and that's okay. that's part of life. You don't have to like everybody. But the only thing I always say, you don't have to like me, and that's okay. But be respectful, because I'll always be respectful with no matter who. Unless you're disrespectful to me, I tend to have a sassy mouth, so that I will clap back. But other than that, it is okay to have differences of opinions or not liking somebody. So to Nick LaLota, Nicole Maliotakis, Andrew Garbarino, Elise Stefanik, Claudia Tenney, Nick Langworthy, Mike Lawler.
Not like he's keeping track.
I wish them. No. I'm just saying
those are the New York.
Those are the New York. That's the New York delegation. I wish them well. They're Republicans. They carry the banner I support. We might defer on how we go about it, but I do wish them well. I don't want to see them lose. Do you think I want to see Democrats take over their seats? God, no. I mean, people who think I think that are stupid, because I am as partisan as it gets. I'm a partisan hack, as they say, right? I am Republican, so I don't want to see these guys lose their seats.
Those things are synonymous,
I guess.
Well, it sounds like, as outgoing New York City Mayor Eric Adams famously said, "All my haters become my waiters when I sit down at the table of success."
That's not how I view life.
On the right, you heard it here first. Can someone tell me what time it is?
6:24. It'd be nice if your watch was working with a battery. 2 years, he said he hasn't fixed it, but he still wears it.
It's a nice watch, right?
Remember that vanity thing I was talking about earlier? It's not even functional. It serves nothing other than a bracelet. If you're going to put a bracelet, put her a Mezzer Cartier.
Oh, cool.
I mean,
I can see your lawyer getting sweaty in the background. He's not declaring assets, folks. He's not. It's not our mess. It's not really.
Look, if you're going to do bracelets, do them right.
All right. We've got a couple more minutes. Everyone just start waving at me at 6:45, and that's when we go into the Q&A. But let's pivot. Let's pivot to your pivot, right? You want to go into entertainment, show business. Not Dancing with the Stars, I guess.
I didn't say not Dancing with the Stars. They just haven't invited me to Cha-Cha. Although I think
Rumba.
I think I would do better than Sean Spicer, low key. I mean,
no disrespect to Sean. We love Sean.
No disrespect. I mean, we love Sean Spicer.
We love Sean Spicer.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think I'd be.
You've got that Latin blood. It's you got that built-in rhythm. But so all right, if not Dancing with the Stars, then what? What's the plan? Give us a sneak peek. Give us a little bit.
I can say this. I am striving to make daytime television fun again and not have The View be the only option. But it is not politics. I will not be commentating on politics in my future gig. That is soon coming around. What I heard
coming soon to Sports Center. Former Congressman George Santos.
It's not reality TV. No, sorry, boo, no. But it's fun. I promise it's fun. Just imagine a place where you can go and actually watch daytime television in your lunch break and be like, oh my God, this is hysterical. That's what we're doing. That's what we're working on, and that's what's fun. So I think you're not going to be subject to The View anymore and watching the most joyless human being called Joy. Or anyone else on that panel, for what it's worth. Even Alyssa Farah. And sorry if there's any friends of Alyssa here. That's okay. I don't even like her dresses. Oh, by the way, like here's some good tea. Who likes my commentary on the White House Correspondents' Gala? Like, does anybody truly like it? Can I get hands? Okay, I'm doing it live this year on the red carpet. So, like, I'm bringing Joan Rivers, Ryan Seacrest all into one and just being an asshole. So, if any of you dare walk the carpet, make sure your dresses are
George, you've been out of Washington for too long. No one goes to the Correspondents' Dinner anymore.
Oh, they did last year. They did this year.
None of the cool people.
Nobody's cool anyway in DC.
Let's stay on Hollywood.
You too. Okay?
I know. I'm talking about myself. Let's keep on Hollywood for a second. We have our friend is in the room. You mentioned who's on Dancing with the Stars. We won't name names, but mini series about famous people. They're hit or miss. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're bad. Who would play George Santos in your dream? No, don't give me that face.
Who do you think?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Okay, so where am I from? New York.
New York?
No, I'm not from Brazil. Stop saying that. My parents are. Jesus. My parents are. I'm from New York. Okay? Thank you.
So Billy Joel.
No. Who? Okay. All right. Let's just be. Who else went to prison from New York's 3rd District, from the Gold Coast? Jordan Belfort. Who played Jordan Belfort?
Oh my God.
I mean, who played Catch Me If You Can? Those are all from New York, so it has to be Leo. Although he's old now, and that's kind of I get the short end of the stick because he's old. But
He's
think
still Leo.
It would be fun. We look just alike. I mean, come on.
Can you see the family resemblance?
It's so obvious.
Have you met Jordan Belfort?
I have not. No.
I feel like we got to get that.
Yeah, I
That's
think that
coming
would be
soon to the
funny.
Daily Wire. George
Yeah.
Santos x Jordan Belfort.
You know what? It would be fun if we do this. It'd be like, okay, let's take FEC advice from George Santos and SEC advice from Jordan Belfort.
I mean, you should, if you like being on stage next to me. I have only petty misdemeanors in my past. You should get on stage next to Jordan Belfort. Talk about a guy who's going to make you look good.
I'll
That's
feel like a saint. I mean, pink sheet.
Yeah,
stocks.
it's I mean, fantastic. This absolutely. All right, so
I did not throw midgets on spinning wheels either. So, or I'm sorry, little people, right? That's, how do we say it's little?
no
people,
comment.
right?
No,
Yeah.
no one answered that. No one answered that. We're still on the record.
Whatever.
So you came to Washington to fix it. You left Washington. In certain circumstances, you're back. Kind of. You're not living here. You're living
No.
in New York again.
No.
No. Oh right, you
So
fled New York.
I fled New York. I fled. I reside in Pennsylvania, and soon in Florida within the next couple of weeks. Any Floridians in the house? Let's go.
Can't
Florida.
be staying in Pennsylvania for too long.
Oh,
No,
I
no,
love
no.
Pennsylvania. Josh Shapiro is not the worst governor in the Democrat Party. He's not. He's just not. He's a
No,
decent.
I said nothing. about
Pennsylvania
Josh
runs
Shapiro.
really well, and I'm so glad he wasn't VP pick for Harris because it might have been problematic. But anyway, New York City. I'm gonna go back to this for a second, if you don't mind.
By all means.
Born and raised in New York, I love my
Not
city.
Brazil, folks.
Why?
I don't know. I really don't know. The carnival pictures, maybe? I don't know.
I had fun at a festival.
No, ain't no judgment. Who among us?
Sue me.
I think we did that already.
So bad. No. Look. JD dressed in drag, and I defended him. That wasn't drag. At least it was bad drag. It was Halloween. I did carnival. He did Halloween. Stop saying it's drag.
I did it.
fun. It was just fun.
You were going to talk
And he
about New
does
York.
not wear mascara. He has thick double eyelashes.
Put the shovel down, George.
Anyway. All kidding aside. New York for me is home. It always has been home. 37 years. The fact that I don't feel safe staying in the city, and I lived through de Blasio. I voted for Adams because Curtis Lee was an unserious man. And I meant every single word of my expletive-laden tweet that all of you made go 10 million views viral. Even his cats can go fuck themselves. I mean, and I'm sorry for swearing, guys, but it's like I never thought that I would sit here and make an argument to vote for Cuomo, the grandma slayer. I never thought. For me to make that, for my brain to connect that I had no choice because the GOP failed in New York City, and so did the GOP in the state by not giving us a compelling candidate. But on top of that, I want to see the Democrats failed at allowing this man to be propped up. He's dangerous. I don't feel safe being in New York. I know a lot of people who say the same thing. So I'm unfortunately leaving my birth city. My identity is being a New Yorker, being brash, outspoken. That's my identity. Now I got to go be a Floridian and be like, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Well, I think you're
I'll
gonna,
fit in.
I think you'll luck out though, because so many New Yorkers that feel the same way as you have gone to
Yeah.
Florida,
So
you're gonna fit right in.
So New York is New York because it's the New York. So
Yeah.
what do we call Florida now that all the people from the New York, is it the New York? I mean, I don't know. New York of the South? I mean, Florida sucks.
The New
The name
Bronx.
sucks.
Florida sucks. Wow.
No. The name sucks.
We need to rebrand
Florida.
Florida.
The New York. New York
South
of the South.
Brooklyn.
I like that.
There we go.
South Brooklyn.
We'll think about it.
Yeah, we'll think about
We'll
it.
workshop it.
I'm kidding, guys.
Well,
I
so
love Florida.
I want to talk DC really quick before we go into the really spicy off the record
Who
Q&A.
said I was doing spicy?
No, who's to say?
Mild.
I
I
don't know.
can't even
What?
handle heat.
What is one thing that you really miss about Washington? Not Washington, official Washington. Literally, whether it's your job, actual DC, the city, the people's, anything. Broad question. What is one thing you miss and one thing you never want to have to do again?
I miss having my opinion count on that lighted board over the gallery. It is so cool that like your opinion, like we all have an opinion here, but when you put your card in the voting machine and you press yay or nay, that is your actual opinion. And guess what? You all have to deal with my opinion. So that's pretty cool about being a congressman and being in Washington. I miss my opinion mattering, right? And I think we all want our opinion to matter, but I also miss the interaction with like young conservative leaders, because it's always been inspiring to me to be like, okay, I didn't do what these guys are doing, right? I wasn't young here in DC. I didn't come to DC until I was mid-20s. So I didn't have that experience. And to see that there's so much young people in DC is inspiring to me. And I love the interaction. Even just like listening and learning, I like to listen to people just tell me their experiences. So I really miss that. But what I hate about the city, you can't get good food anywhere. Food is really, really, really bad here. I'm sorry. There isn't a single restaurant here that I'd say, oh, I have to go eat there. It just doesn't exist. No.
There are some good restaurants.
I mean, Le Dip is okay if you're like a 20-something white girl and you want to go have like French onion soup, I guess. Or if you identify as a 20-something white girl.
What was
hey,
where? Did you have a go-to spot? Where'd you go? Where did you dine out and watch?
Le Dip. Le Dip, Joe's. Joe's is okay.
Oh, we love Joe's.
But then again, who's paying $400 for king crab legs?
Somebody.
The lobbyists. I didn't have lobbyists paying for my lobbyists didn't take me to dinner because I didn't vote for anything they did. So it's like it sucks on a $174,000 salary with 2 residences and legal fees. I couldn't afford Joe's, so I went to Le Dip. I took the escargot French onion soup. It's true.
Just went to where all the poor people eat and lay down.
I didn't say that. Did I say that? I didn't say that.
I had to have champagne and escargot with the plebeians.
I did have a lot of champagne in my rooftop, though, because I do like champagne. I hosted a couple of members and spouses. My partner and I would have quite the interesting environment. And we lived in the Orr on the corner of I and New Jersey. It was pretty fun. Across the street from AOC.
There we go.
I'm telling you, she inspired me even more to live in DC.
And you said you love to cook, you love to host. You did it even in prison. Thanksgiving is coming up. What's the first? You got to have a big Thanksgiving. First, you're out of prison. What, 4-5 weeks? What's the plan?
So yeah, no. I just thought of that I'm gonna have to cook for Thanksgiving. It wasn't even in my mind until you just said it. But yeah, no. When my mom passed 9 years ago, I took over all the family holidays.
Okay.
It just naturally was like, okay, you're gonna do it. I'm like, okay, cool. So my Thanksgiving consists of 18 family members and all my friends who are strays who their families don't live nearby, so they all come. Debbie, who's one of my friends who's here, who's also my personal assistant, she's been at Thanksgiving with me every year for I think the last 6 or 7 years. Debbie, raise your hand and say hello. So she's gonna kill me. She hates being pointed out. But I just really enjoy doing the whole Thanksgiving shindig, cooking. And I don't keep it traditional. Like nobody really likes roasted turkey. I mean, rarely people actually enjoy turkey. I do the honey ham. That's the situation in my place, and everybody likes it.
They like that.
I mean, I'm going to call out. There's this reporter in D.C. Her name's Julie Grace Brufke. Adore Julie Grace. She's probably going to get in trouble because I said that. She hosts the best Christmas party in D.C., and it's called Bitches Love Ham. And I love going to that Christmas party because who doesn't like ham? So
who doesn't like ham?
I do. Well.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it. We're gonna wrap it right here on the last question that's on the record, and then we'll do a little Q&A. Someone's gonna be coming around with a microphone.
Cool.
What's the best Thanksgiving side dish? Oh my God. Hardest question I've asked them all night.
For me, the best stuffing.
There we go.
I love stuffing. Hate cranberry sauce.
Wow. I got a plus.
Thank you.
All right. Well, with that, I'll wait for the mic to come, and we'll take your questions.
Oh, she means business.